Imagine waking up to find your home surrounded by floodwaters, the streets transformed into rivers, and the very foundations of your life shaken by unrelenting downpours. You're in Italy, or maybe France, or even British Columbia, but the scene is eerily similar. Right now, across multiple corners of the globe, violent storms and floods are wreaking havoc in ways that are becoming disturbingly familiar. What's causing these extreme events to line up like dominoes, from the plains of Italy to the vineyards of France, to the misty mountains of Canada's west coast? And more importantly, are we ready to face this new climate reality, where these once-in-a-century floods now seem to happen every few months? Stick with us as we dive into the heart of the storms that are reshaping landscapes and communities, from Europe to North America. Italy's Emilia-Romagna region is no stranger to floods. Just 5 months ago, this area was described as the site of the worst flooding Italy had seen in a century. Yet, here we are again in October 2024, with the region partially submerged after another round of torrential rain and flooding. Over 160 millimeters of rain fell in Bologna alone, a staggering amount considering the historical average for the entire month of October is just 70 millimeters.
Ma puzza proprio, Raffaele, tengo le mani che fanno...
No, Raffaele, la fogna qua dietro.
The consequences of this extreme weather have been tragic. A young man, just 20 years old, lost his life when his car was swept away by a torrent of water in Bologna di Zacca, south of Bologna. His is not the only story of heartbreak. Over 2,100 people have been evacuated, and more than 15,000 residents were left without power at the height of the storm. Rivers that were already swollen from recent storms, like the Reno, Inza, and Secchia, couldn't take any more water. They overflowed, flooding roads, homes, and farmlands. Imagine seeing your streets turn into canals and your local fields submerged in water. Residents in hilly and mountainous areas are also on high alert, with authorities warning that landslides could be imminent. Schools in Bologna have shut down, and emergency services have responded to over 300 calls for help in just the Bologna area alone. This all comes just weeks after the tail end of Storm Boris brought flooding to the region in September, leaving scars from which the area has not yet recovered. It's a scene of déjà vu for the people of Emilia-Romagna, who are now asking the difficult question: how much more can we take?
Ben mo vedo. No.
It's not just Italy feeling the wrath of extreme weather. France, especially the southeastern region of Ardeche and parts of Lazara, has been pounded by unprecedented rainfall, 685.8 millimeters in just 48 hours. The small village of Limoni, sitting on the banks of the Rhone River, has seen its vineyards and homes inundated with water. Over 1,000 residents were evacuated as floodwaters rose quickly, engulfing homes and streets alike. With over 2,300 rescue operations carried out across the region, as the waters slowly recede, residents are now returning to homes that have been damaged or destroyed by the floods. It's hard to overstate how extraordinary this rainfall has been. Météo France, the French weather agency, called the amount of rain that fell in these regions unprecedented. But what's most troubling is that this is becoming more frequent. Every year, extreme weather events seem to push the boundaries of what we thought was possible. The people of Limoni have seen their community transformed, and they're left wondering if their homes will ever truly be safe from these floods again. And now, halfway across the world, on the other side of the Atlantic, the story isn't much different. British Columbia, Canada, is facing its own battle with the elements. A powerful atmospheric river, a narrow corridor of concentrated moisture in the atmosphere, is currently drenching the south coast and parts of the interior with 90 to 150 millimeters of rain. In some areas, like the North Shore, the rainfall could exceed 180 millimeters. This deluge has caused power outages, road closures, and flash floods across the region. In the lower mainland, search and rescue crews are on high alert, prepared for possible evacuations. Videos have flooded social media, showing cars submerged in water and streets turned into rivers of mud and debris. One of the most alarming incidents occurred in Coquitlam, where a mudslide washed away a home. Crews have been working around the clock to locate the homeowner, who is still missing as of Sunday. The search had to be suspended overnight, but is expected to resume in the daylight. Atmospheric rivers are a regular feature of the Pacific Northwest weather patterns, but the scale and intensity of this event have caught many by surprise. Search and rescue teams had to rescue 3 hikers caught in the storm, and more rain is expected to fall before this atmospheric river finally dissipates. We've just explored the devastation caused by extreme weather across 3 very different parts of the world: Italy's Emilia-Romagna region, the vineyards of southeastern France, and the storm-soaked coastlines of British Columbia. What's clear is that the world is facing a climate crisis, and these storms are just the beginning. But as the waters rise and the storms grow fiercer, the real question becomes, what are we going to do about it? How can we prepare for this new era of extreme weather? And how can we ensure that the communities most vulnerable to these changes are protected? Stay with us as we continue to cover these evolving stories, where the impacts of climate change are no longer predictions. They're the realities we live with today. And if you want to learn more about the science behind these storms, or what you can do to help, make sure to like and subscribe for future updates.